Hello and welcome. A few years ago I bought a bunch of these blue wine glasses from the Dollar Tree, and come to find out they actually are like crystal. And I'll show you in just a second. You can kind of hear the little noises, and I apologize, my mic is not that great, but you can hear them when they make their noises and stuff. And it's such a beautiful, clear, bell-like tone. I absolutely love. And indulge me for a minute because I was just playing around with them. If anyone ever saw Miss Congeniality, she does her talent is playing with the wine glasses with water in them. And I love anything that makes music. Anywho, for today, we are going to be making some holiday, New Year's, glasses, last minute decorations, things you can give away to friends. Happy New Year 2021. I will say good riddance 2020. We are so glad to be rid of you. So I'm just going to start by using some of my Americana paints. And please subscribe, click that notification bell, and share the love and spread the love and all the good stuff. But I'm using my Americana satin multi-purpose paints to paint this glass. And I'm just, right now, you're going to be painting backwards when you paint on glass. So you want to start with the inside of the flower and then work your way to the outside petals. So I'm painting the stamens of my flower just so they'll show like in the inside when you're looking down at the bottom of the glass. Welcome to Ivycreates, and I am Deanna Carroll. Thank you for joining us today. So now you can see I'm painting the stamens. I actually painted the stems. I'm using my Americana paints, and I pre-mix in my little paint pots because I like to have my own colors. So this is like a pea green color that I'm using for the stems, and for the upper parts where the pollen would be, I would be using a pumpkin. So you can see I'm just adding the colors on there, and then I'm adding a little bit of yellow behind that. And from the inside, you will never see this from the outside really, but from the inside you will see this. Now the little piece that you see right there is the where the stamen, where the pollen goes, and there's several pollen pieces. So now I'm using my heat gun to blow dry them a little bit, and then I'm going to take some pink paint and some more of the green paints just to put in my petal colors to add a little bit of color to them, because they're going to be the small inner petals of the flower. So I'm going to start on painting on the petals, and this is the small inner petal. So it's just painting like a teardrop or an oval type shape that comes from the base of the glass down to about just under the tips of the stamens. And you can see how I'm painting them. And I want 5 petals. 5 petals is what we're going for because that makes a more cohesive sound. So I'm just going around. Whenever you're painting, I'm painting the stem, that green color, the kind of pea green color. And whenever you're painting the stems, a lot of times it's easier to move the glass than to move the paintbrush. If you keep the paintbrush still, then it makes a better like round circle, and it's just easier to do it that way. So I've got my white, and I'm going to go back, and I had painted all my petals, and I put 5 petals on. It's always much, much better to use an odd number than an even number on any part of design. Okay, these are the outer petals of my flower, and I decided to line them in gold. I don't know, it was just a preference. I wanted to line them in gold, so I'm drawing them out. And what they are going to do is they are going to stagger the center of the 2 other petals. And again, I want 5 total petals. If it were larger, if I needed more, it would be 5 to 7 to 9, using the odd numbers. So I'm just lining my second petals out in gold, and these are going to be the outside petals of my flower. Once that's complete, I'm going to go back in just a minute and I'm going to paint white in around, all in the lining of my gold drawn out petals. This is my Folk Art Royal Gold, my favorite gold that I always use. It's a really pretty gold. And I'm going to paint you can see I'm starting to paint the petals white. I apologize for any barking you may hear in the background. My puppy is just being an attention monger today. He wants all the attention. So you can see now I've painted the petals white, and you can kind of see the underside. This is the bottom side that it's showing right now. And again, in the middle, I'm going to paint the leaves that are going to be on the outside of my flower, and I want to also do those staggered, but I'm only going to do 3 leaves this time. I'm not doing the full thing, and you can see I'm turning the glass when I'm putting the green on the stem, and that's because I want a sharp edge between the stem and the bottom of the glass, and I don't want it to be messy looking. So if you turn the glass and hold the brush still, you end up with a much better fine line. So now I'm going to again do an oval or a teardrop shape, and the teardrop would be from the base of the glass down to the bottom. As you can see, it's kind of an oval with points. Please subscribe and click that notification bell if you like this video. So I'm just making 3 leaves on my flower. And I'm, careful to make sure that they're all about the same size. And they don't have to come above the top of my flower or anything. They just, are similar in size. And I'm going to again use my heat gun to get it nice and dry. When you're finished, if you want to cure these glasses, you can actually put them in the oven, and you want to put them in a cold oven, just room temperature, and you let them sit there at about 200 for a couple of hours, and that'll pretty well cure them. You still would have to hand wash it if you were going to hand wash it, but these glasses are really designed for a party, and they're probably a one-time use type thing. I doubt anyone will be using them after the fact. They'll probably just rinse them off and put them up on a shelf. So now I'm going around the base with a little bit of gold, adding more gold, and I outlined everything with gold again on the outside of my glass. And I'm going to dry it with my heat gun. Now the heat gun is not actually really curing this. Now this is the final, and I ended up painting the flower petals blue because again the glass was originally blue, but I wanted you to see the white from the inside, and I also added a bow with made of tulle, which is like a netting, and it was a gold netting, so it was really, really pretty and really dressed it up. So next thing I'm going to do is I have about 6 or so blue chenille stems, and I'm just using what I have really, and I have some silver chenille stems, so I took 6 of the blue ones and I put them sticking up, and then I'm going to just wrap the silver ones around the base or the stem of the glass, and that is to cover up and also hold the blue stems in place, so it'll make a nice shiny pretty base on it. You can do anything you want to with these things. These are all personal preference. I just wanted to give you some inspiration and ideas as to what might look good. So now I spread them out, and I'm going to grab a pin, and I want to wrap them tightly around the pin so that it curls, and you can see how it kind of curls, and I got a different pin because I wanted it curlier, and you can see how it does with the curls on the bottom. And this is just again for a decoration, for you can use it to drink out of, you can use them to put tea lights in. Any of these you can put tea lights in and make them decorations, and just to make them really pretty and really different. And these are shiny metallic royal blue. I kind of feel like 2021 is royal blue, silver, and black for, the 2021 New Year's parties. I don't know why. It's just a personal preference of colors. And I kind of feel that way for right now. So you can see how I curled them on the bottom. And I did go back and add some curly ribbon also that I had that was silver holographic to make it really extra pretty. So this is going to be our third one. And this one I'm using Dollar Tree ribbon just to glue the Dollar Tree ribbon around the base of the glass part. And it's the blingy Dollar Tree ribbon, and I love to use this stuff because I use it for all kinds of different things. It's great for weddings, great for holidays and parties and stuff like that. And you can cut it into smaller pieces and use it as like a little extra bling to whatever you're doing. So I did this, and the first time I did it, it's kind of hard to do on a glass that's rounded and it kind of tapers at the top and then it gets bigger at the bottom. It makes it really hard to lay something flat against it. So I ended up, ripping it off and redoing it again to make sure I had it right. And fortunately, the glue hadn't really cured or had time to sit for a long time, so it came off pretty easily. But once it gets glued on there, it stays. It's not going anywhere for a while unless you purposely pull it off. So I went back and I just did it section by section to make sure that my ribbon was actually where I wanted it to be and that it wasn't all crooked and all that kind of business. So I got that done, just to add my little bling around my glass. And then I was trying to decide what I wanted to do. And I decided to take the same bling and, glue it down and wrap it around the stem of my glass. And it took a little bit of trying to get it just right how it needed to be in order to spin it around the bottom of the glass. And you could see you would do the same thing with a wedding bouquet if you were doing a wedding bouquet. It does take a little bit of time just to know what you're doing. But once you get going, you're pretty good on it. And, this type of ribbon covers up a lot of mistakes. So it's very easy to take care of. So there I cut another piece of the bling in the shape of a diamond and just put it on where I had joined the two pieces of ribbon together. So it made like a little emblem or what have you, a special thing for it, on the front. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take some of these blue holographic curly ribbon and I'm just going to curl up a few pieces and throw it in there for right now because I'm going to use those for decoration later. And you can see I just cut random pieces and I use the non-pretty side of the curly ribbon and I put my thumb and everything against the ribbon and pull it out straight, and then it pops back in a curl. So I do have other videos with how to make bows and stuff that show exactly how I do this, but I just wanted to give you an idea. So the curly ribbon makes for great decoration as well. So now I found some gemstones that I had in a box, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to add those as extra bling to my blingy looking glass. So I went and first thing I did was glue a big one right in the center of my emblem on the bling ribbon, and then I glued smaller ones all around the edges. And when you see me pulling imaginary things away, that's usually I'm getting the glue webs, because a glue gun does make tends to make a web or a spider, what we call spider webs or glue webs. And you a lot of times have to pull it off. So I'm not doing imaginary things with my hands, really. I am actually pulling off extra glue. So once I got all the gemstones on there, I really liked the way it looked. It was very fabulous. And I do have the perfect person in mind for this glass who's very fabulous and blingy. And I also painted 2021 on the bottom part of the glass just to give it that little bit extra. So next glass I was going to make was a 2021 glass, and I'm using my silver chenille stems or tinsel stems or pipe cleaners or whatever you want to call them. I'm going to use those to make numbers. I looked and looked and could not find any small numbers to use, or really anything with 2021 on it. It's like, it's almost like they totally skipped New Year's and went straight on to Valentine's. So I'm going to just make the numbers out of my silver, and then I'm going to glue them onto my glass. Very easy to do, and all I did was put them next to each other and make sure that they were the right height and everything. You don't really have to worry so much about it. It doesn't have to be exact, but you don't want them to be crazy out of line. So I just put them next to each other and make sure that they were similar heights. So here you can see I glued them onto my glass. I also used a black sparkly ribbon as well from the Dollar Tree that I thought was absolutely fabulous. They call it a trim, but it was beautiful. So I glued that on there just like I did my other glasses. And then I glued on my 2021 silver letters. And you can see how I put everything together. And this is just showing you the finals. And I'll have the final product pictures in just a second. And you can see how everything's done. I did 2 in gold and 2 in silver, although I prefer the silver. This is my favorite glass. And around the base of this glass, I actually used that star garland that was wired and loosely wrapped it around the bottom of the glass. And so it kind of stood out from the edge. And with that black background, it just looked incredible in person. So you can see I have these just sitting on the table, kind of give you an idea of what they look like. On that little garland that I wrapped around the black, you may also wrap it around a pin and then loosen it up a little bit and then peel it back around the glass. So you can see how everything kind of finished off. I put a gold ribbon there on my blingy glass, and everything looks fabulous. And there are so many, this is just for inspiration. There are so many different ways you can do a glass quick and last minute to make it look like decor. You can turn these glasses upside down and put a big pillar candle on them. You can put tea lights in them right side up. You can use them for drinks, however you want to use them to decorate. There are lots of different ways that you can use them for decoration. And there's my Tank and Lefty and Lucy, my assistants. Although they're not very good assisting. They're usually actually more like bothersome than assisting. So have a great holiday and a great new year. Happy New Year 2021 and good riddance 2020. Thank you for watching. Hi, did you click that subscribe button and the notification bell? Well, if you don't hit that notification bell, you will miss out on our Thursday videos. So please go ahead, click it, and you'll be able to watch our videos that are coming up.